All right, let's stick with, we'll go from there on this as well, stick with environmental issues. Same fracking question that the mayor's got. There's a ban in place. There's talk of repealing it. How do you feel about the ban, and how do you feel about gas drilling in the city?
First off, we need to look at all of the use of energy in a holistic way. We can't look at any one piece alone. There's no magic answer, there's no unicorn out there. That's why I have spent 13 years building the renewable energy market and making sure that the developers are able to get the funding and policy that they need. I did not support the ban because I was not able to find one attorney in the environmental field, except for Tom Lindsay, who brought it to Pittsburgh, who thought it was constitutional under both the federal and state constitution. Violates the property rights agreement. In addition, I have actually looked at the maps and looked at what has to be done in order for drilling to take place. And we simply are not going to have drilling in the city of Pittsburgh as it's currently constituted, because while they could occasionally get we could get the drilling in, you don't have the lines, you don't have the roads, you don't have everything you need. But I do not rely on the kindness of strangers. We need zoning, we need strong regulations, and that's why I'm supporting the work at the Allegheny County Health Department to put our own restrictions in on drilling.
So just to answer the question, first and foremost, I do support the ban. I will not vote to lift the ban. Until we have any settled issue at the state level with Act 13, I am not going to trust the industry to behave responsibly, because they've shown they're not willing to. And even though it's not the district, I've walked in Lincoln Place and I've talked to those residents who have seen gas companies going door to door talking about leases. Will they drill? I don't know. But I know that you have an entire neighborhood, and people in Lawrenceville as well, and people around the National Cemetery, who have talked about gas companies being there. And I'm not going to take a chance until we see something that happens. But this is symptomatic of a bigger issue. This isn't a Pittsburgh problem. Well, first of all, it's a national problem, but it's certainly a southwestern Pennsylvania problem. And when cities and municipalities across the state stood up and sued for Act 13, which is an unconstitutional breach of local government power, Pittsburgh stood silent. Council took action, council members did, our mayor didn't, and we didn't join that lawsuit. We should have joined the suit, and it takes going out to municipalities around western Pennsylvania, talking to the leaders and saying, you know what, we have the exact same issue, and we're going to stand together. This isn't a Pittsburgh issue, it's not a city issue, it's a Pennsylvania issue, and it's a people issue.
I echo Jeanne's comments about energy. I think when I was in school a very long time ago, I studied energy politics, because that's when OPEC came in with the oil embargo. And it's really, if you look at that history from then to now, we've done very little. And the federal government just gives us this huge vacuum on energy policies for us. So I like to look at things sort of globally and acting locally a lot of times. When I think of that, I think the federal government is just dropping the ball and giving us a real clear energy policy. As to the ban, I think there is we don't have any drilling. The risk is if somebody comes to start drilling in somebody's backyard, we don't have any zoning regulations to say you can't do it. You challenge the ban, we lose on the ban, you can drill wherever you want to right now. So, but as far as the negotiation part, as an attorney, I'm very well of where you take your stand sometime in negotiating. So I would stay with the ban until, and I would be looking at how we're going to do the zoning. But right now, I mean, get folks to the table, you sort of, there's a thing in law which you always say is, that when you're negotiating, you got to put the meat, you know, you don't want to put it too high so the dog doesn't jump. And so so with the ban right now, it's forcing, I think, it's forcing more discussion. But I would keep it, and I would be looking at zoning because I think that's what you have to do as a council's going to have to do at one point in time.
Hey, I've been asked to authorize a rebuttal, so why not? Let's hear what Jeanne has to say.
Yeah. The other reason I didn't support the ban is that I was busy putting in stronger regulations against drilling statewide. I helped push through the regulation that they cannot return water from fracking to the waters of the Commonwealth unless it's drinking water standard, which is the strongest in the nation. I was also fighting like hell for a severance tax and for more community support. I believe that the ban was something that made people feel good, but we could have used that good organizing time better to actually make a difference and actually put some strings on this major industrial activity that's happening statewide. I tend to be strategic and practical, and that's where I was putting my time, and also building renewable energy. That's one of the reasons I didn't support the ban, but frankly, I like the Constitution. I'm not about to advocate for anything that violates it, unless I'm going to amend it.